From Daniel Pahman. Hey, John, I just read that Disney cast Ariel for their Little Mermaid live-action remake. Halle Bailey will be Ariel. Interesting choice, but I dig it. Can't wait for this movie to be a part of our world soon. What are your thoughts, John? And thank you.
All right, so this has kind of dominated the news cycle yesterday. We do have, contrary to popular belief, it is not Halle Berry, which is what a lot of people start going, what, Halle Berry's going to be Little Mermaid? Okay, John Wick, now this, I guess this is her year. Okay, so here's the thing. Rob Marshall, who's going to be directing this Little Mermaid thing, we've known that for a while, and there's been a lot of, cast Awkwafina, Melissa McCarthy going around, but who's going to be Ariel? That's been the question. And now it's Halle Berry. Even I want to say Berry. Bailey. And so in talking about that, this is what Rob Marshall had to say about that cast. He said, after an extensive search, it was abundantly clear that Halle possesses that rare combination of spirit, heart, youth, innocence, and substance, plus a glorious singing voice. I noticed he didn't say acting talent. Anyway, all intrinsic qualities necessary to play this iconic role. And of course, that comes from the director of the upcoming film, Rob Marshall. All right. Let's just address the elephant in the room here. One of the biggest forms of conversation going around online about this has not been about whether this girl can act. It's not been about whether this girl can sing. Has not been, unfortunately, about whether this girl is a good choice to play Ariel or not. The biggest point of conversation around the web has been the fact that the girl isn't a white redhead. And yes, I will acknowledge, that's kind of a striking thing, because when we think of Ariel from Little Mermaid, that's what we saw. A white girl with bright red hair and a fish bottom. That's what she is. Here's what I think about, and I will get to whether or not I like this casting or not in just a second, but hear me out. I have never cared about the race of the actor playing a character so long as the race of the character is not inherently important to the core nature of who that character is. For example, Shaft, being black is a core essential element to who that character is. You cannot have a Shaft without it being a black actor playing it. If you want to get into the realm of reality, you cannot have an Asian actor playing John F. Kennedy, because he is who he was. Or other maybe white Caucasian characters who, being a white Caucasian, speaks directly to who and what that character is in that particular context. Other than that, I don't care. When they got, when they cast for the Ancient One in Doctor Strange, and they got a white actress to play it, I didn't care. Because the way they were interpreting the character in the movie, that's what it worked out as. So I didn't care. When they got the great Michael Clark Duncan to play Kingpin in that Ben Affleck Daredevil movie, I didn't care. Because being white or black or Asian or Hispanic or whatever had nothing to do with the core essential elements of who and what Kingpin is. Ariel is a mythological creature that's not real, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if you knew this, and I don't mean to be a skeptic. There's no fucking thing as a mermaid, all right? There's no fucking thing as a mermaid. So this whole thing about Ariel has to be a white girl with red hair, no, she doesn't, because these things aren't real. And then unless you can point me to a lyric in a song in the Little Mermaid movie that maybe I overlooked, where she sings about, it's hard being a white mermaid. If you can point me to that lyric that makes it essential for her to be a white actress in the role, then that will be fine. Then you got me. Otherwise, can we just shut up about that? Can we please just shut up about that? It is a mermaid. They are not white, black, blue, brown, yellow, because they're not real. And there's nothing about the Ariel character in the Little Mermaid movie that speaks to anything about what human, she's not human, but what human race would she, there's nothing in there that makes it important. So it doesn't matter, okay? It doesn't matter. Can we move on? All right, moving on. Hi. So, I don't like the casting. I don't like the casting. I'm not, let's put it this way. I'm not going to jump up and down to say that she is the wrong choice. I'm not necessarily saying that adamantly. But coming into a movie like this, you're doing Lion King, right? And who do you go out to, they're not even going to physically be in the movie. Who do you even go out to get the voices for? You get Beyonce to come in there. You get James Earl Jones to come back. You get Seth Rogen, and you get Childish Gambino, and you get people, experienced performers who can do this sort of thing, who are not new to the bright lights of a major motion picture, who can step in there and do it. I'm not saying never give new people a chance. I'm not saying that at all. I mean, look at Precious, for heaven's sakes. But I would have been more comfortable as a fan seeing, I don't know, somebody who's primarily an actor in the lead role. Like, go the Moulin Rouge route. Yeah, they said, let's get, first of all, big talented actors. So who they do? They went out, got Nicole Kidman, they got Ewan McGregor, and it just so happens that they can sing. And it's like one of my top 20 films of all time. I would have been more comfortable with that. Now, look, it's not like Halle has no acting experience, okay? It's not like they're pulling her right off the stage from her concert and saying, now suddenly you're going to be an actress. She has a series that I admit have never seen called Grown-ish. I've never seen it. I've heard she's okay in it. That's the most I've heard, but I can't speak to that myself because I've never seen it. I just will say myself that I probably, admittedly, would have been a little happier had we seen a more experience, because there are a lot of young women, Asian, black, white, whatever, around this same age who do have significantly more experience with the bright lights of a big feature like this, who could handle something like that we know can carry a film on their shoulders. And I don't have that confidence in her. I'm not saying it's not going to work. I'm not saying this is disastrous. I'm just saying my first reaction was, I'm not thrilled with this pick. Just being honest, not thrilled with the pick. Would have liked to seen somebody else. But anyway, that's my approach to it. Aaron, as somebody who I know you've seen The Little Mermaid, and yes, you know, they make this casting announcement. Number one, did it catch you by surprise? And then overall, now that you've had a chance to sit on it for a little bit, how do you feel about the casting?
Well, I think the thing that we're not talking about here is the fact that clearly Rob Marshall did not do a full search, because after hearing you sing just now, I feel like he's missing out on a great opportunity.
Obviously.
So, but we're going to let that go. You know, it's actually interesting. I was just saying to Chris before we were talking, I remember watching the Super Bowl and going, who are these girls singing the national anthem? I've never heard of them, but clearly if they're singing the national anthem at the Super Bowl, somebody knows something that I don't. So she's obviously been groomed for whatever the next big step is. I agree with you on the race thing. It didn't even dawn on me that she doesn't look a certain way. And I think a lot of people just need to put their preconceived ideas of what a character is supposed to look like based on the predominantly white animators and white writers who created those characters, and allow for these characters to evolve and change as an audience evolves and changes and grows. So let's just get rid of that whole race thing. But as far as her not being that experienced, yes, I understand, but at the same time, I was one of the biggest poo-pooers of Gal Gadot playing Wonder Woman.
And she was terrible. Yeah, you know, I said
really?
That. Let's put it this way. She was better than I thought, but I thought she was the weakest thing in that movie. I really do. I thought Patty Jenkins did a masterful job as a director and carried that.
Yes, but at the same time, as an audience member, and here's the thing, I went into Wonder Woman prepared to hate her and for her to basically tank the entire film. And I really enjoyed the film, and she was believable, and I felt like she serviced the character. So I also think, as you said, in the hands of a very capable director, which Rob Marshall is,
yeah, he
is. I don't think that Halle Bailey is going to do this role a great disservice, and they're surrounding her with really strong, talented actors. So I'm gonna be cautiously optimistic about this one. I do think that, like, Rob Marshall has beyond proven himself and his ability as a director, and like we said, the first job as a director is in casting, and if you cast well, you don't have to do that much on set. So I'm gonna see how this goes, but I'm remaining optimistic about it.
Look, one of the big important things about this movie and about this role is clearly going to be the music,
right?
And going to that was my first exposure to her as well.
Mm-hmm. And doesn't she sing more than she acts? I'm assuming. Well, we don't know.
Yeah. She's primary. That's how she got. She's a singer. That's what she is. And,
no, I'm sorry. I meant the character Ariel. Like how? Oh. I mean, I did the play Little Mermaid when I was a little wee tot.
Of course you did.
Of course I did. But also, let's bring up another predominant singer, not necessarily known for her acting. In fact, not known for acting at all. Jennifer Hudson, who then went on to win an Academy Award for that very role.
And of course, and then there was, again, Precious, who got, I don't think she won, but she got nominated for that. There are exceptions. I mean, no doubt, there are exceptions. I think it's dangerous ground when you start pointing to 2 exceptions over 40 years as proof. But I'll say this, to your point about music being such an important part of this movie, this girl can sing.
Oh, yes, she can.
I mean, she's got the voice of a freaking angel.
Yes, she does.
And depending on that balance, if they can really lean into that, even though, like I said, as a fan, I'm not jumping up and down about this casting, but I know when the song numbers come, she's going to kill it. And that is a huge thing. And maybe that's something I need to give more weight to. I'm not really sure. Chris, you heard about this casting and all this kind of stuff. What's your first reaction to it?
I mean, I'm still reeling over mermaids not being real, John.
Sorry, I should have given you a spoiler warning, everybody.
I'm holding off judgment. Like you guys were saying, the singing is so important. This girl can sing. She's signed by Beyonce's record label. I mean, that's nothing to sneeze at. And a lot of the film is going to be her having to do nonverbal acting. She's going to pantomime a lot. So if it's more like the animated film, a lot of broad gestures, I think she could handle that. Honestly, the casting I'm still most upset about is Melissa McCarthy. I wanted a drag queen as Ursula. She's based off of Divine. Come on.
Wow, that would have been great.
I kind of think, like, I like Melissa McCarthy. I'm not the biggest Melissa McCarthy fan in the world, but I actually, when they mentioned Melissa McCarthy as Ursula, I'm like, that's actually kind of perfect. I actually really dug that casting at any rate.
It'll definitely work. She's great, but I want my Divine. I want that. I'm excited about Awkwafina and stuff like that. And then just one other example, though, of people who were, brought from obscurity and thrown into something. Moana. I mean, that girl had never been in anything, and that is iconic work that she's done.
Sure, but voice only. But voice only. Like, she wasn't on screen, and she was great. By the way, I had her in my studio, and I did. I got to do a show with her. Well, it was just before I think Moana came out. I had seen it. I love Moana. By the way, okay, I have never admitted this on screen before. I'm going to admit it right now. All right, and F you all if you don't like this. So my viewers know that every morning, about an hour before the show starts, I take a shower and I play basically my pump up music to get ready to do the show. A lot of times it's Pray For Me from Black Panther. Sometimes it's it's the Man of Steel theme, the Superman theme by Hans Zimmer. Sometimes it is, like yesterday, it was Thunderstruck by AC/DC.
Nice.
About once a month, I'm not going to lie. The actual title of the song is How Far I'll Go from Moana. There's a line where the sky meets the sea and it calls me. I listen to that at least once a month. So F you to anybody who doesn't like that. I love that. So that's a great thing. She then went on to do that little show. She had a show on Fox. And then after that got canceled after one season.
Right?
Yeah, and then got canceled after one season, which was too bad. But she's delightful. She's great. Okay, guys, question is, you guys heard about this casting thing. How do you feel about it? And actually, guys, it is the topic of today's question of the day. Our question of the day is simply that. Disney has cast Halle, I still want to say Bailey as the lead for the live-action Little Mermaid. What do you think about the choice? You got 3 options: like it, don't like it, or no opinion yet. And right now, I put this up just before the show started. 2,500 of you have voted. 42% of you are saying no opinion yet, which I expect that's going to be the majority of people. No opinion yet, which is probably the healthier opinion. But 39% of you are saying that you like it. 19% of you are saying you don't like it at this point. I'm going to leave this poll up for a while. Head on over to my Twitter, which of course you can simply find right here, just simply at John Campea. Cast your vote for it, and I'll take a look at that again a little bit later today.